Hey, Jeremy Colson, Steve Vai drummer here at the last show in LA of a 10-week tour. This is a rundown for Modern Drummer. Basically gonna go over my rig, kit, everything that's involved with it, drums and electronics and everything. So we'll start with the drums. This is a new kit. It's a Tama Birch Walnut. It's the newer Performer series, and it's like a seafoam green type of finish, kind of an old school pearl inlay kind of thing. So I really like that finish. And the sizes, we have the 8, which I made into a concert tom. So it's just one head. 13, this one is a 13 by 12, so it's a much longer tom. 16 by 16, 18 by 16. The bass drum is 24 by 16. I had a 22 for a long time, but went back to a 24, slightly shallower depth. Much better. Amazing drums. The first time I've tried the birch walnut, and I really like the sound. Very resonant. Very has a lot of attack, but has warmth at the same time. This is an Octobon right here that my tech Chris Huber, my right hand man, painted the Rastafarian colors. A couple of rock crashes right here. These are both 20-inch. I go back and forth between the AA rock crashes. I like the explosion crashes too. Anything that's like 20-inch that projects big, I like. This Power Bell ride here I've had for ages. It's been on. It's on the new record. Toured with it. I've done tons of things with it. So the Power Bell ride, I just love the big bell on there. Holy China, those are great because they cut and they're quick. A Max Stack, Portnoy gave me this like 15 years ago. And this is the first tour I started using it on because a lot of the songs kind of have sections where these the China and the quick type of cymbals really speak with the music. A little bell right here. Another set of hi-hats here, 15-inch set, just because there's more double bass on some of the songs and I'm playing closed hi-hat. 14-inch hat, AAX. I went to 14 on this side because I like the smaller articulation of quick hi-hats with some of the things that we're doing. And then a splash cymbal, 10 splash cymbal. That's something I normally don't use on my setup. But again, for this stuff, it worked. The snare drum right here is my bell brass. It's a reissue bell brass. I've had it for like maybe 6 or 7 years. It's my favorite snare drum. It's really heavy. And it goes everywhere with me. As far as heads go, all Evans. The toms we went with Onyx, just because they're one of the thickest Evans heads, so they last, especially on tour and especially with the way that I play. A lot of the basic all Tama hardware, which I love. The pedal is the Speed Cobra, double pedal. It's chain drive. I don't do direct drive. I still like the feeling of the weight of the chain and the feel of all that. And we just started using the Onyx bass drum head, which I've never used, and I really like it. It has a really great sound. Kind of reminds me of like Pantera, like if you tune it right, you just get a great heavy sound. And then we have the Roland pad over here, which we have some different samples on, which trigger certain parts of certain songs. All that stuff goes to Chris Huber, thing that we're doing, because we have a screen up here. Things line up with the screen, so he controls all of that stuff from there. And I also have my own personal mixer, so I can, there's certain sections where I want, things quieter, louder, and I can actually control it myself, which is great. And then my newest addition, which is one of my favorite things, is my didgeridoo. I got into the didgeridoo about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's just a beautiful instrument. In fact, I'll give you a little idea of how it sounds. So it's a Australian Aboriginal instrument, and there's a circular breathing thing. And I've tried to be practicing and while I'm playing and play it, and I just really enjoy it. It gives me this sort of tribal sound. And the last thing are my drumsticks. These are my Tama signature stick. I've kind of done some variations with the length and stuff throughout the years, but the left-handed stick, there's no tip on it, as you can see. And I used to use grip tape, but what Chris and I started doing on this tour, we started sanding the sticks down, and I find that that actually absorbs the sweat, and it gives me a better grip than all the stick tape and all that stuff like this. It just seems to absorb really well. So we started sanding this, and we started sanding this tip here to round it, because the other problem was I was denting all my heads real quick. So this has been the perfect solution on this tour. So we're Chris has this electric sander that he brings, and if, you know, you can hear before the show.
Jeremy has a foot switch that's connected to my rig, and he starts some of the songs and I start some of the songs. So he cues Pro Tools, and then Pro Tools cues Resolume and starts the video. And then also Pro Tools is connected to Steve's rig, and there's MIDI notes. So during each song, it changes the patches on Steve's rig through this rig. So we're all kind of interconnected. So he cues Pro Tools cues the video, and also Pro Tools changes the patches intermittently between in the song. Like at the chorus or the verse, it will change to a different patch. So that's basically it. And I have a little switcher and a couple computers. And I have, like during the drum solo, I put a little camera on Jeremy, and I'll cue that up during the drum solo. And I mix back and forth, do videos. And that's pretty much it. We tune to specific notes. I keep it all in the key of A440. The snares at A440. And then basically the 13, the 16, and the 18, we tune them to their lowest possible tuning. And the 6-inch and the 8-inch, we tune this higher, almost like a timbale. And the way I tune is the top and the bottom, basically the same tension. And then on the snare, the bottom's a little bit tighter to make it a little more attack. So pretty straightforward. We have the Onyx, like he said, just because durability. We're in the middle of 52 shows, so he hits so hard. But when we go, say, to South America or other countries, if it's 1 or 2 shows, we get either the G2 or the EC2. It's just sounds a little fuller. These sound great, but they're thicker and they last longer. And we recently, like you said, we switched from the regular EMAD to the EMAD Onyx. And it's a little punchier, it's a little more metal, for the double kick drum, it stands out a little more. And other than that, we use the heavyweight just because it lasts longer.
Yeah, I've just been this tour has been great. This kit consistently sounds good. He knows how to tune it up really well, and I love these bigger drums, and I love the variations with the smaller drums and the splashes, and this is the first kit that I've toured with where I've had a lot of different little types of effect cymbals and electronics, and as I'm getting older, I'm more interested in textures and colors and stuff like that, as opposed to just like bashing